And right into the stretch. Looking back and throws up the middle. Rose is on his way around. Picked up by Otis.
Here comes the ready and not. Here comes the voice from the south. Here comes the ready and not. How you like me now? I say. Here comes the boom, ready and not. Here comes the voice from the south. Here comes the boom, ready and not. How you like me now?
You don't live in Cleveland. You live in Cincinnati.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Cincy James, and Big Savage Greg over there, Greg Luther. This is going to be something just that we're going to do just like a once a week type of deal, strictly talking fantasy football. BFF with Cincy James, Bengals fantasy football. So basically, we're going to talk about the Bengals. We're going to talk about possibly their opponents, forecasts for what they're going to do fantasy-wise. We will be using ESPN standard scoring, so we're talking PPR, full point per reception. That's it. So basically, Greg, are you a big fantasy football player?
I'm a big fantasy football player, but also I bang my head against the wall too many times, but I still keep going.
Dude, it's the same. You could put out the best lineup ever, and okay, I got Joe Burrow, I got Mixon, I got Chase, I got Higgins, I got everybody, and then all of a sudden one guy goes down, and it's like, okay, the whole week's shot.
Dude, so I'll just tell you the quick story. This defies me. Brandon Allen, I had going into that game. I was 1 point down. Everybody and their grandmother thinks I probably would bet when I win that game. I mean, you probably could have won $1 billion if you bet against me. And Brandon Allen did through the interceptions, and the guy had the Bills kicker didn't do a dang thing for me. So
right.
Anything could happen. We
got a few guys in the chat here. We got Stranger, always a pleasure. Oh, we got Pork Chop. Look at him. What's up, Pork Chop?
What's up?
He's doing a little stuff right now. But who day?
He's pulling off a Santori.
Yeah. So since this is the inaugural episode of this, I do want to salute everybody. I'm going to take a shot. Greg has to drive to the game. So to the FC game tonight, him and Pork Chop are heading out there. But cheers to everybody.
I'm drinking. I'm doing a fake drink since I'm drinking tonight. So here we go.
Understandable. Oh, we got Tyler in the chat too. What's up? What's up, brother? Who day?
Follow Santori. Let's get this going.
And yes, Pork Chop, you cannot pick up AJ McCarron yet on your fantasy team. He's not. He's only on the practice squad. I don't think he's available. So
go for it, though. I don't care.
Hey, you could try. I mean, he might be listed as a free agent, maybe, but anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the main man, the guy, that everybody is worried about. We're going to start with Joe Burrow. First off, Greg, do you think he's going to play?
Good question. So I go back and forth on this. Some people say he shouldn't play. Dude, just from seeing what practice today, I'm 70% sure he's going to play.
I think I'm with you, and I think I might be a little more optimistic than you. I think I'm like 90-10. Okay. I know the AJ McCarron news was kind of weird because now they've got a fourth quarterback in the house now, but yeah. Basically, I think that says more about the backup situation than it did Joe Burrow playing.
Yeah, but that had, like I said, and I think that had nothing to do with on Twitter. That was just to get an extra body in there and all that. That was mainly to replace Will Greer. Yeah, but like I say, and I hope you're right. No, I hope you do. I'm glad you have better confidence than I do. Maybe I should go up, but that's where I'm standing at. Like I say, I really do think he's going to play.
I felt good when I saw him walk out there 2 days ago. And then they listed him as a DNP, so he did not participate in practice. Mm-hmm. And then he was limited yesterday, and then today it seems like I haven't seen the full practice report, but it seems like he did more today than he did yesterday. Sounds like it might be a full. I don't know. Whew, but goodness, if he plays, well, first off, let's go back. Right now, Joe Burrow is now this is per ESPN standard scoring, is the 31st ranked quarterback in terms of points per game. Now that is not the Joe Burrow that we're accustomed to. Last year, I want to say he was a top 5 guy, if I'm not mistaken. He was somewhere close to it, but
Right.
31st, that's not getting it done. He's averaging 9.3 points per game. And he's doing nothing on the ground right now.
Right.
So the calf is really killing that. If he plays, Greg, what kind of forecast do you have for Burrow? Like, give me an idea of yards you think he's going to do, touchdowns, different stuff.
Whole game or first half?
Entire game.
Okay, entire game. So this is my guess. I think we discussed a little bit on Bruce, but if I had to get, I'm trying to. I don't know if I can remember. So, like I say, yeah, I think we established the running game more. So, if I had to guess, I think over under we did was 220. I think I said a little over 220 he could go, and I don't think it's going to be 300. You know, so if this is my guess, I will say if he can give me 230 yards passing, let's just say that, and 1 touchdown, no interceptions, and I'm just not expecting him to run much, maybe 5 yards. If he can do that, I'm fine with that.
Yep. Yeah, and now we're fine with that in terms of the Bengals. We're fine with that because it's kind of a game management type thing and a calf management thing.
Right.
Now, for fantasy, are you fine with that line as your starting QB?
It depends on who my backup is, but I mean, if I had to say overall, probably not.
Right. Now, you know me, I'm like the eternal optimist.
I am too. I'm optimist too.
Right. And maybe we're cursed by being so optimistic at times, but I think that if he plays, I could see not much more than what you're saying, but I could see somewhere in that 250 to 275 range.
Right.
And I would say 2 touchdowns. I think that if he's playing, I think that he's going to be conscious about trying to feed a particular wide receiver that we'll talk about very, very soon. Initials JC, but I don't think he's going to do anything on the ground. I think that I think rather than try to run, I think he'll throw it away.
Yeah, no, exactly. He's not going to be doing much running. That's why it was nice. I just gave him 5 yards just to be very, very nice. And all, like I say, he's not going to be doing much running. He's not going to be doing all the rolling out. But like I say, you know. But my biggest fear also is what's his name, Donald, coming at him right in the middle. So we'll see. That's a different story too. But like I say, I'm not expecting over 300 yards passing, 4 or 5 touchdowns. If he does that, then hallelujah. Who am I to complain?
Oh, absolutely. I think we're on the same page there. So let's go ahead and move forward. We are going to go to Jamar Chase. Now, here's another guy drafted. I think the consensus was like somewhere 2 to 3 in the entire draft in terms of fantasy football. So a guy that you draft that high is giving you 8.6 points per game and is the 55th ranked wide receiver per ESPN standard scoring. Oh no, that is tough. He's shown some, I don't want to call it immaturity, but he's shown some frustration, we'll say. With not getting the ball. He's still getting targeted. It's just the targets that he's getting are not the shots that we're used to seeing with Jamar Chase.
Well, bubble screen after bubble screen after bubble screen, that's just not working. Like we're not doing any really trick plays, and maybe this has something to do with Burrow not being healthy, not going deep enough. I'll put it this way, James. When I was picked first in our one fantasy draft, as much as I don't want to admit this, I think I made the right decision right now picking Jefferson over Chase, right?
Right now, absolutely. I think, and actually, since you said that here, let me pull that up here. Let's see if it'll let me. Let's go. Since Minnesota, Justin Jefferson is the 4th ranked wide receiver with 24.5 points per game. So, yeah, I would say you made the right choice there.
Yeah, I mean, no, I wanted to pick Chase so badly. I went, I'm like, Greg, just don't. You can't do this from being a Bengals fan. Yeah, that's what hurts you in fantasy, when picking by your favorite team. So,
for sure. Sometimes you reach for players that you shouldn't. Now, I will say that with Chase being the consensus all across the board, everybody drafting,
Yeah.
not just Bengals fans, the consensus second or third guy off the board. Anybody that took him isn't really reaching. It's just that he's underperformed so far.
No. But compared to Jefferson, yeah, no, exactly. If I was picking second, I would have taken him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, I think that Chase is going to be fed the ball. And actually, I don't even care if it's Joe Burrow playing. It could be Jake Browning. It could be A.J. McCarron. It could be Boomer coming back out there and rallying the troops. I think that the game plan, at least for the wide receivers, is going to be to force the ball to Jamar Chase, get him more involved, get him happier, because a happy Jamar Chase is a damn good wide receiver.
Dude, absolutely. So, what is your over/under for Jamar Chase? Let's kind of do fantasy points wise, or let's do yards, like you said. Well, should we start with that?
I personally think that it's going to be over 100.
You know what? It's funny because I bet less for T, not because I don't have faith in T, but he's been getting the ball fed to him like crazy.
Yes.
Is T going to be the new target now? Teams are going to be keeping an eye on. We don't know that yet.
Right.
But yeah, I think that maybe I'm just trying to be optimistic. But if he can get me, I'm not trying to downplay this. If he can get me 85 yards at least, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'd be real happy, especially let's say the 85 yards was paired with 7 receptions. So now you're talking 15.5 points just from that.
Yes.
And then you throw a touchdown on top of that. You're talking about 21.5. Come on, let's get there.
Exactly. Like I say, I'm not expecting him. I'm not telling him to get 150 yards, but he can just give me a good solid game around 100 yards, anywhere in that range. I am perfectly fine with that. Like just get a deep ball in, just do something like that. Yes.
And word on the street was that Jamar Chase and Brian Callahan had a little meeting. Just those two guys had a little meeting, talked it out, because he said, he was wanting more go balls, wanting to take more shots, and that was kind of the conversation.
Yeah.
It would not surprise me to see one of the first 3 or 4 plays of the game, a shot for Jamar Chase deep down the sidelines. Just
give me that deep 20-yard pass, man. No, I mean, like I said, the screen passes, the same place that we use over and over, just not working. I mean, we got to start going deep, man.
Yeah, I agree. So my prediction is going to be, I'm going to say 100 to 110 yards for Jamar and somewhere around 7 catches and a tutty. He's going to get a tutty.
If he can give me, dude, if he does, maybe this may be bold. I could see if he gives me 4 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown, or 85 yards to 100, I'll take it. That's awesome for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think we know where we're going now. His counterpart, who has been, had one really awful game and one really good game.
Yep.
T. Higgins. So the first game, he had 8 targets, 0 receptions.
Mm-hmm.
Tough game. The conditions were bad. Half the throws to him were bad. He was getting played pretty well by the Browns. They played some pretty good defense. Got to give credit there. But T. Higgins, now we talked about Jamar Chase being the 55th ranked wide receiver.
Right.
T. Higgins, 25th ranked wide receiver, averaging about 6 more points a game than Jamar Chase. He's averaging about 14.5.
Right.
But the first game he had literally 0. The second game he had 28.9 points.
Ooh.
So, I mean, because he had 2 touchdowns and 80-something yards. And I think he had like 7 or 8 catches too, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see what it says here. He had 8 receptions, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he was targeted 12 times. So let's go back to that. He's getting targeted 10 times a game on average so far.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see that? Do you see that going down or staying around the same? I don't think it'll go up, but I think, what do you think on that?
James, this is by far the biggest mystery fantasy player coming in my opinion. You know, T, like you say, it could be up or down. And like I said, I think I said less yards for T, not because I don't have any faith in him, but we've been targeting so much. Are they going to be like, okay, let's keep an eye on T right now? He's been the hot one. Let's keep an eye on him. You know, it's like playing NBA. It's like when I play my NBA games, if I had a player that was on fire, guess what? He's going to start getting triple team like crazy and all that because he's the one on fire. So T is the biggest mystery. I don't think, like you said, it won't go up, but I don't necessarily think it's going to go down either. Even if he just gets me one touchdown and 60 yards, that's fine with me.
I'm close to that in terms of the yards. I'm thinking somewhere in that 65 to 75 range.
Right.
Probably 4 or 5 catches is kind of where I see it.
Right.
If anybody is in the chat and they want to throw something out there, whatever you're thinking, put it out there, please. We'll put it up on the screen. But yeah, I'm thinking somewhere in that 65 to 75 kind of yard range. I don't know if he'll get a touchdown. That's the one thing. Like, you know, he's an awesome red zone target. So if we get down in the red zone, I mean, look for him to get the ball. But for me, I'm not projecting that out there. I don't know that he'll get one.
Yeah, like I said, this is the toughest one of them all, man. I just don't. This is a big mystery. He could easily have 20 yards for a game, or he could have you 150 yards. Neither would really honestly shock me. So this is the biggest mystery, you know. But if I had to think, yeah, like I say, if he gives me 4 or 5 even 6 receptions for like 60 some yards and a touchdown, that's fine with me.
Okay. We do have a question in here. We got Baby Santa.
There you go.
That profile pic's great. He says, "What's good, fellas? Half PPR trade." So I think he is giving up Kyron Williams for Garrett Wilson and DK Metcalf. Other running backs are Saquon Pollard, James Cook, and James Conner. Now Saquon is going to be missing a little bit of time. Right. James Cook has looked fine. James Conner has been okay. Pollard's been okay. Actually, that's a question I've got on Pollard. But so Baby Santa, so you're giving up Kyron and getting Garrett Wilson and DK. Make sure I've got that right. Just throw that out there in the chat just to make sure that I'm right on that. If that's the case and you're only giving up Kyron Williams and you're getting Garrett Wilson and DK Metcalf, do that in a heartbeat. I mean, and he said yes. He said yes. So I would absolutely get rid of Kyron Williams and take Garrett Wilson and DK Metcalf.
Yeah,
absolutely.
you're getting although
especially if it's dynasty.
Yeah, like I said,
dynasty, I am all about Garrett Wilson and DK Metcalf.
Right. The only problem with Wilson obviously is the quarterback situation, but still Wilson's a proven player. So
here we go. He said he's given up Kyron Williams and Jaylen Warren for Garrett Wilson and DK Metcalf. Jaylen Warren looks like he's going to get more carries. Seems like Pittsburgh's not super happy with Najee Harris, but it is a redraft league, so dynasty doesn't matter. So he's got these other fine running backs. I'd be interested to know what your wide receivers look like, but I would probably take that.
Yep. No, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I would probably take that. Tyler said he's got T and Jamar both on his fantasy team, not the league. Him and Greg are in.
There you go. No, in our other league, I'm not gonna lie, the guy chasing our league, I was not too happy. I took Jefferson in the second round. I'm like, oh man, T Higgins is mine. And the guy before me took Jamar Chase. I'm like, no way, this dude takes both Bengals receivers. And he did. I'm like, you can't be serious. It's always that one person that picks right before me. I have this player.
Yeah. I see why Baby Santa is talking about this trade, because he's got Cooper Kupp, who's hurt, Mike Williams, who gets hurt a lot. He's got Chris Godwin, who last year was hurt a little bit, and Christian Kirk, who is not really the top target anymore. So, yeah, I would for sure do that with the guys that you've got, for sure. Kupp comes back, you're going to have a great time. But, I would definitely do that. Next guy we're going to talk about.
Here we go.
Joe Mixon. Now, I think Greg and I are on the same page here. not only do I think they're going to feed Jamar Chase, I think that they're going to feed Joe Mixon. They're going to try to get him going, really push the envelope there, because right now he is the 21st ranked running back. He's averaging 11.9 points per game. He's been kind of average, but we've seen that he's making people miss again. He's doing well when he gets out in the open field. Let's see what happens. I think that they're going to feed him. What do you think, Greg?
You know what? I remember Bengal Dad said over 150 yards overall. I did say, and I just said 100 yards rushing. But you know what? We were talking about them, Bruce. I'm going to set my expectations high. So, I mean, the Rams have the 24th run defense in the NFL. I mean, the question is going to remain: will the Bengals actually give Mixon the ball more? That's going to be the question. But I'm going to set my expectations. He could easily get 100. He could easily get me 100. I'm expecting, if they really go with Joe Mixon, I expect 130 yards overall at least.
Yeah, I'm absolutely with you. He's also involved in the passing game, just like last year.
That's what
last year he set the Bengals franchise record for receptions by a running back with 60 receptions. He's got 7 right now in 2 games, 3 in the first, 4 in the second. So not only is he giving you something on the ground, he's giving you something in the passing game, which is good because the PPR aspect of it really helps you to be able to get those points and stack it up, especially if you got Burrow. If you got Burrow with Mixon, oh my gosh, yeah you're going to be doing fine. But forecast for him.
So go ahead.
Yeah, no, you go ahead.
No. Go ahead first.
Oh, okay, I'll go. Let's say I'm going to say 80 to 100 in terms of rushing yards, and then I'm going to say somewhere in that 35 to 50 receiving yards. So he's going to be somewhere in that 110 to 130-ish, 110 to 150, total yards is what I'm thinking.
Did you just steal my notes?
No. I might have.
Yeah, no. I literally said, all right, so obviously I won't be right on the dot here. If he gets me 105, 110 yards rushing, along with 20 to 30 yards receiving, I know that's a little bit over 130. That's what I want.
Gotcha.
That's what I would love to have.
I'm in on that. I really do think that they try to feed him. And, well, let me hold my next thought because we'll get to it in a little bit later segment. Next, Tyler Boyd. Do we think that he's going to be a little bit of a safety blanket for Joe Burrow going across the middle, or do we think not much going on there?
You know what? If we really think about it, he was a bit of a security blanket in that Ravens game. He made some big catches that we needed. Tyler Boyd is probably one of the most unappreciated. I mean, along with we talk about DJ Reader at times. Tyler Boyd is so unappreciated. He does not have. I remember him coming out of the draft like, he doesn't have the speed. That was the thing that just knocked him out. Well, look at Corey Coleman. Look at I'm trying, like the other 2 guys that got drafted who had this great speed. Didn't mean a thing. So Tyler Boyd, man, still in the league, still playing strong. Now the question is, what is he going to get me? Okay, I don't think he's going to put up big yards. If he could get me, listen to this, 8 receptions for like 60 yards, that's not a lot. But if it's a bunch of 3rd and 4s, 3rd and 5s that we get ourselves into, sign me up for that.
Yeah, well, last week he had 8 targets and he had 6 receptions. So definitely could see something like that happen. It was 6 receptions for 52 yards. So what you're talking about is absolutely feasible. Yes. Let's see. Oh, hold on. Stranger said, I'm not a fantasy football guy, so sorry, no question. I just enjoy listening to y'all talk Bengals. Well, Stranger, we enjoy that you're in the chat, and we really appreciate you being in there.
Dude, thank you.
If you think of a question that's talking about the Bengals and maybe it necessarily isn't fantasy related, maybe we can get to it. So if you got something, just throw it out there. But we'll try to stay on topic with fantasy football. But if you got something, throw it out there. We'll see.
Absolutely.
But so back to Tyler Boyd. He absolutely could get that type of line where, somewhere in that 6 to 8 receptions and, 50 to 65 yards. Mm-hmm. He normally, although I will say a couple times a year, he's good for one of those, down the middle, kind of a 15-yard pass, and then he makes a guy miss and just gone.
Right.
He is good for that. So wouldn't be surprised, but he's the 69th ranked receiver, and he is averaging 7.1 points per game. So he's not like an elite like guy that you're probably starting. But if you were in a pinch and you had to get somebody out there, he might not be too bad.
If I had to compare him, honestly, to a former Reds player, call me crazy, he's sort of like Bronson Arroyo. Bronson Arroyo was never that guy that was going to give you 10 Ks in a game, be a lights-out pitcher, but he would give you innings pitched. He would be that guy that would be a bullpen's best friend. He would do like some of the stuff that nobody ever looks into doing and all. And I thought he was very unappreciated at times. That's sort of what I've seen Tyler Boyd with doing these, like I said, these little small third down catches he does.
Yeah.
People don't give that the attention it deserves at times, I feel.
Yeah, I agree. So your prediction is somewhere like,
I believe I said
8 catches.
Yeah, maybe I'm a little too steep right there with 8, but if he can get me 8 catches for like 60-something yards, that's beautiful.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. You're talking 14 points right there.
Yes.
So that's awesome from a third wide receiver on a team.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah. I'm going to go a little bit more conservative. I'm going to say somewhere in the 4 to 5 catch range, maybe about 40 yards or so. Might sneak a touchdown in there, but Tyler's got something also. Greg, good game on beating me last week in our Boyd League. You kicked my butt.
Tyler, I don't mean to say this, but I honestly didn't even know. I totally forgot about that league. I didn't even know I was playing you.
Oh,
Tyler's going to be even more ticked off over there. So Tyler, man, thank you for updating me, Tyler. I'm in so many fantasy football leagues, and that's the problem.
Right. Oh, I hear you on that. All right. So next guy we got some news about Irv Smith today. Greg, why don't you tell everybody what was announced today?
So it was announced Irv Smith is going to be doubtful. I think it comes to a shock to us all because we never thought about that, until now. I mean, Irv Smith, the thing with him is, I really was hoping he was going to step up. I set high expectations for him, kind of boasted, especially last week. And if he just would have broken that one little measly trip tackle, he could have had us a touchdown. They could have won easily. We probably would have won the game, I thought, with that momentum.
Yeah, I agree. Normally when you're listed as doubtful, it's a miracle for you to play. So basically what we think is he's not going to play. And I don't know that there's much else to talk about. He hasn't done much. He's listen to this. So there are 32 starting tight ends in the league. He is the 42nd ranked tight end in fantasy football. Now we're talking fantasy football. We're not talking overall, regular football, but 42nd ranked option for tight ends. That's not getting it done. And I think that he would admit that is what I think.
Right.
So let's not spend too much time on him because he's been listed as doubtful. No disrespect. It's just there's not much to talk about. Yep. So that brings us to question marks. With Irv being out, who steps up? Is it are they going to target Drew Sample? Are they going to target Mitchell Wilcox? Or what is going to happen here?
So I know Dale's probably excited. Cam said that Drew Sample's going to get a lot of playing time and all that. So, but no. I mean, that James, that's the biggest mystery. The question is, I don't even know if we almost would use a tight end. And anytime if we use a tight end, maybe it's just going to be for blocking only. You know what, man? I'll just make a projection for all the tight ends combined. This is my projection. For all the tight ends combined, I'm going to be nice here. 5 receptions, 30 yards.
Oh, that is very nice.
Because I know I'm rounding it up big time, but that's on it. That's all the tight ends in general.
You know what I was going to say?
What?
I was going to say one catch for 6 yards, maybe.
Okay, that's probably what
I was going to be extra mean. I thought about saying 0.
Well, I guess I do that for room for improvement or something. I don't know. Maybe that's just it. Okay, yeah, maybe I've been going way over the line, but dude, But like I say, let's face it, we just hardly ever use tight ends, even though, I mean, I as a fan think they should, but, that's not for me to decide or anything. But,
Well, Stranger said that he wishes even more now that the Bengals had picked up Zach Kuntz off of waivers.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
I wanted him in the draft. No, James.
Yes.
We had a good draft. The only thing that I was just left scratching my head with is no tight end. If you were to tell me they were not going to pick a tight end in the draft, I said you would have been crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah. We thought first or second round.
Yeah, dude. No, when I was at the draft party at Paycor, James, me and everybody else, and everybody says they didn't, I guarantee is probably lying. We all thought it was going to be Michael Mayer.
Yeah.
I had the Michael Mayer train all ready to go, and I wasn't sad or anything. And I still think Miles Perfect could be good, but the fact that we didn't get it, and I understand you don't ever reach for a tight end. I get that, but it was just such a deep class. I'm never going to question what the Bengals do, but
yeah,
I'm just saying, man. After Irv Smith, this is what we said, man. Irv Smith in his whole career has missed. I did math here. 56% of his games in his career. That's more than half his games.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
It is tough. Oh, Tanner Hudson.
Yep.
Maybe Tanner Hudson gets a little bit of run. It's possible, Kyle. Definitely. Somebody's going to have to play, and somebody's going to have to play that role. We just don't know who it's going to be. Not sure if they're going to target him or what. I would assume they'll target him some, but I just don't have much hope out of that position group.
James,
not right now after the first few weeks.
I don't want to get way too off topic here or anything, but to call me crazy, and since they're a run-oriented team right now, say if the Falcons call you right now and say, we want your first rounder for Kyle Pitts.
First rounder.
You would have
I would think about it.
You would have to slightly think about it. Now, his contract, well, he was drafted same year as Chase. The thing of it is, he'd have 2 years. That's the thing. He'd have 1 year. Then after that, he's a free agent. You'd franchise tag him, but he'd be costing you a lot of money. So maybe I'd have to backpedal a little bit. But
I'm with you, though. I'm with you. I mean, I think it's been floated out there a little bit too. Like,
right.
They're not utilizing him at all. So
no, exactly. That's what I'm saying is, man. I mean, but like I say, he's going to be he's off his rookie contract soon. So yeah. I think he's got, like Chase, I believe it's like next year with Chase is one more year. Well, thank goodness for that 5th year off. Well, no. Oh, boy, I'm terrible at math. Chase is on his 3rd year. Yeah, Chase is on his 3rd year. Okay, yeah. And Pitts was drafted in the first round, so you could pick up 5th year option. You'd have him for 2 years, but still.
Yeah. We'll see what happens on that front. Yeah. Now, other question marks, you could say Travion. Does Chris Evans get any run? Is there another wide receiver like Trenton Irwin or Yoshi? Anything like there that could pop up? What do you think?
James, you know what I'm about to say here since you mentioned him.
Oh, I know what you're going
to say. No. So to tell everybody this, I was looking at James and Mason. They keep pointing in the film. Like, what are you guys pointing at? I couldn't hear what you guys were saying. And Yoshi was right there. And like Santori said, there was a play design where he could be all by himself. All I could tell you is when in that preseason, when I went to have bet with Dale, my phone was going off like crazy. Yeah? So if he gets a touchdown, you know what, James? I'm going to have some fun with this. Yoshi Bosch, give me 1 reception, 5 yards, and a touchdown.
I was going to say 1 catch, 1 tutty.
There we go. Same page.
Oh, hey, good news. Pork chop's out of the shower. All right.
Yeah.
That's good news.
Okay.
So, yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to utilize Yoshi a whole lot yet. Probably going to take an injury for that to happen. Right. But they did bring him out on the goal line. So we see some type of goal line formation there. Get ready. He might be coming in there. But Trenton Irwin doesn't seem like he's done much at all.
Forgot about him.
Exactly. And he was let's just put it this way. He was an amazing fill-in last year for the guys that went out. He was always stepping up, always doing what he needed to do. Seemed like he was catching a touchdown left and right. He did great, but Charlie Jones hasn't really had any run as a wide receiver. He did well last week with the punt returns. So, right. But there's no real fantasy value there, I think, for either of those guys. So yeah, I don't think there's really anybody else to talk about on the Bengals. So let's move on forward. Last thing we'll talk about here, the Rams. Now, there's a guy on the Rams named Puka Nacua, and this dude is absolutely crushing it. He has the record for receptions in your first 2 games as a rookie with 25 receptions in 2 games.
Jeez.
He had 10 in the first game. He had 15 last game. He's had 119 yards the first game, 147 yards the second game. He's got no touchdowns yet. So he's putting it all up there with the yards and receptions. And he is the number 3 ranked wide receiver out of everybody, averaging 26 points a game. That dude, we have got to cover him. Got to. If you don't cover him, and I know, yeah, he's questionable. I think he's going to be playing Pork Chop. I think he's going to be out there, but if he's out there, you got to cover him. I don't know who's going to cover him. I don't know if you put Cheeto on him or because Cooper Kupp's not in. He's out.
Yeah. So here's the thing, James. It depends on who's covering him. So I want to go to the defense. Cheeto, man, I'm nervous with Cheeto right now, man. He's been getting burned out. I mean, that's where we get our CTB. We need to get CTB covering him. It depends on who's covering him. Do not be like, oh, this is probably a fluke. Treat him like you would treat Cooper Kupp. Treat him like a pro receiver. Don't take this Rams team lightly at all. Don't act like you're going to come here and win this game. This is a must-win, James. I think you and I can both agree this is a must-win game.
Absolutely. They've got another pretty good wide receiver named Tutu Atwell. He is the 16th ranked wide receiver, 16.6 points per game is what he's averaging, which is about double what Jamar Chase is averaging. Just throwing it out there. Not saying he's better, just saying right now, this year, he's been better. That's another guy we got to look out for. Tyler Higbee, the tight end, he can get open and he can really throw a wrench in your plans as a defense. Matthew Stafford, I mean, if you just pressure him, I think he's going to give you the ball. Like he's always done that. So what do you think?
What is Stafford going to be throwing? I mean, let's just realistically guess this. If I had to think about it, Stafford, I mean, you got to give hats off to him. They beat the Seahawks, who I still think are a good team. That's to me, the Seahawks are a playoff team right now. I know they didn't make it last year, but that's a playoff contention team. The Niners, who are projected to go to the Super Bowl, went neck and neck with them. Hats off to Stafford, what he's been working with. I mean, good Lord. So I don't want people to get mad at me. I easily think Stafford could go around. I'm going to say 220 yards. He could easily throw 3 TDs. It depends on how our defense does. But Stafford is come alive.
Right. And I think in our group chat, people are saying that Joe Burrow did practice full. Let me see.
I believe he did, yes.
Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. While we're talking about that. So I think we agree Matthew Stafford's going to give the ball up at least once.
Yeah.
Kyron Williams has taken over for Cam Akers. He's the second-ranked running back right now in fantasy in the entire league, averaging 22.7 points a game. Dude can play.
Dude, the way the running backs have just been getting to our defense, man. I mean, dude, we better buckle up for that guy.
Uh-huh. Let's see. I'm right here. Let's see. They've got him listed as a limited participant today.
Ooh, I think he still plays.
So, yeah. I still think so, too. But I'm trying to think if there's anybody else on the Rams that you got to worry about.
All right, James, let's be honest here. Like, we bring up the defense. Over how many sacks do you think Aaron Donald gets? I'm not trying to be negative. I know this is a negative thing. Do you think he gets a sack Monday night?
I'd say if somebody gets one, it's him.
Yes.
But the line has played well. We've only given up 3 sacks in 2 games.
You know what, James? That's funny you say that. Nobody's not – look, I know it's easy to criticize the team because we're 0-2. 2 games last year, we gave up 13 sacks. This year, only 2 sacks. So the offensive line, I'm glad that's fixed. I mean, like I say, it's just unfortunate. A lot of this, it seems like if one problem gets fixed, another problem happens. Like I say, I have no doubt this is all fixable. This is all easily fixable. I guarantee you that team is not in that locker room saying, well, we're done for this year. No, their team is getting ready to go. Move on. Let's keep it going. And like I said, James, all I could say is when we were at that game Monday night, I want them to be so loud that nobody ever wants to play, that the people look at the stadium like already thinking it's going to be a loss coming in here after this.
Say it about the train. Say it.
Don't step on the damn tracks when the damn train is coming through.
That's right. That's right. Don't stand on the tracks when the train's coming through.
Exactly.
All right. So that's it. We've talked about the Bengals. We dove in a little bit about the Rams, who we need to worry about, who could potentially do some damage against us. Right. So I just want to say thank you for everybody that came in and watched and put some comments in on the chat. Greg, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate you hopping on here. Maybe, who knows, maybe next week we'll tag team it again.
Dude, and whenever you need me, let me know.
Absolutely, man. So thank you to everybody. Let me get this back up there again. Thank you to everybody. BFF, which stands for Bengals Fantasy Football. So BFF with Cincy James. Just want to – I haven't heard of anybody really doing a fantasy football show like centered around the Bengals. Somebody may be doing it, but hey, we'll throw it out there. If we're doing it and somebody else is doing it too, okay, cool. That's awesome. But we really appreciate everybody coming out here. Thanks to everybody. Greg, thanks to you. Enjoy the game tonight. Hopefully you'll help bring home a dub for FC Cincinnati.
Well, so far I've been to a tie and a loss, so shh.
Hey, that means you're due for a win.
I'm due for a win, man. This is going to happen. Let's go out there. Let's kick some – I know no rules about soccer. I don't know what the saying is in soccer, but let's go out there and kick some you-know-what.
That's right. All right, guys. Hooday.
Hooday.
And right into the stretch. Looking back and throws up the middle. Rose is on his way around. Picked up by Otis.
Here comes the Ready or Not.